Zimbabwe, a country in sub-Saharan Africa, has dealt continually with economic and social crises. Their issues can be traced back to the legacy of colonization. In Zimbabwe's pre-colonial society, their economy was agriculturally based. Once the British arrived, their lifestyle and economy was altered. The British sectioned off the natives into unfertile land and gave them little access to their own resources. As a result, Zimbabwe today faces multiple challenges that our development plan intends to fix.
Here are some statistics to provide context of just how impoverished Zimbabwe is. They have an unemployment rate of 95%, a GDP of $600 per capita, and they went through hyperinflation with their dollar inflating to 89 sextillion%.
The inflation crisis was caused by banks producing infinite money, which devalued their currency. To prevent this from happening again, our development plan will divert money towards the creation of incentives. Banks will be encouraged to limit the amount of money they produce.
Zimbabwe has the 5th highest rate of AIDS among adults, with about 1.2 million people affected.
To combat the HIV/AIDS epidemic, the government of Zimbabwe has been working on programs in attempts to reduce the rate of infection. Some of the money in our development plan would go to expanding these programs, making the anti-AIDS drug cocktail more available to people infected, as well as to infants born to mothers with AIDS. These programs will also work to increase education and awareness about how the virus spreads, how to prevent it, and the humane treatment of those infected with HIV or AIDS.
Zimbabwe is in need of curriculum reform in order to help make the education system more effective. One adjustment that needs to be made is the implementation of classes that discuss gender roles. Better understanding of this subject among boys and girls can lead to resolving some of the issues that come from unequal gender status. The curriculum also needs to include topics about ethnicity. Understanding the ethnic background of others could possibly lead to less conflict among different ethnic groups, or at least promote the conversation of eliminating struggles caused by ethnicity. Education needs to be more inclusive because of the wide variety of indigenous peoples and languages, some of which include Shangaan, Tonga, Venda, and Kalenga. This will decrease the feelings of marginalization.
In conclusion, our development plan will work to alleviate extreme poverty and inhibit hyperinflation through bank reform, to prevent the spread of new HIV/AIDS cases by funding existing programs and promoting education about the virus, to work towards narrowing the gender gap by sponsoring curriculum reforms, including classes related to gender, and to alleviate the feelings of marginalization in ethnic minorities through education, including classes available in minority languages. Of the $10 billion African Union grant, our plan would allocate 15% of the funds towards land resettlement programs, which are detailed in our corresponding paper, while 50% would go towards gender and ethnic educational reforms, 20% would go towards the expansion of AIDS prevention programs, and another 15% towards funding incentives for banks as a means of discouraging hyperinflation and corruption. Our plan addresses many of the most pressing issues faced by the Zimbabwean government and its people today, and works to create long-lasting, worthwhile solutions related to the economy, health, and education. The quality of living in Zimbabwe will rise, equality will become more achievable, and Zimbabwe will face less of a risk of inflation, pulling many out of poverty if our plan is implemented.